Don't fuck up. Don't fuck yourself. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rude Cooking School podcast. I'm your host, John Hauser III. And before we get into anything else, you know it, you've read it, we have a guest. This guest we've talked to before on our episode about Gathering Grays. Her last book, yeah, was that your last book?
My most recent book, yeah, with Gathering Grays.
Yeah, okay, great. She's a cookbook author. She's a photographer. She's a graphic designer. She's a recipe developer. She's an amazing food stylist. Her name is Laura Klynstra. See, after all that, I still couldn't get it out right. And also with us is Soren Marquardt. How's everybody doing?
Oh, living the dream, man. How
Great.
are you?
Good. How's it
Thanks
going?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're glad to have you back. And I'm glad to have this book. This book is it's incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I think I gushed on the Gathering Grays episode about just the layout and the photography and the styling. And I mean, this book is that and more. It is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. So my sister, who is an absolute angel, after mentioning that we're going to be talking to you for this episode, I was a little tight on funds this week, and I was like, yeah, we have a guest, and kind of mentioned the name, and suddenly yesterday afternoon, this showed up on my doorstep via an Amazon package, and I've been shuffling through this book today, and I'm real stoked about a lot of the things in this book.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
And that's impressive because so when I told Soren about you coming on, he was instantly like, oh man, I'm such a bad baker. I'm really bad with cakes and pies. Like I'm not going to know what to say, or I'm just going to ask a bunch of dumb questions. Or I was like, no, dude, it'll be fine. Like, I mean, you're also a teacher, right? Like you have to do classes.
Oh, I
right?
don't do classes. No.
You don't do classes at all? Wow, that's surprising.
Oh, Lord, you should.
Well, my class is in my book. I mean, I made sure. I made sure
totally.
that every step of how to make a pie crust is in there, both just written and visually, so that people can see those steps in there. And when you're writing, and you're also a photographer, and you're also a designer, you can put all three of those things together to make a really easy to understand package. That's the whole goal.
Yeah. So go ahead,
Joe. Yeah, I was going to say it comes through because like, I know you're really good at recipe writing and not throwing in things that are useless, or you're really good with hints or substitutions, but your voice is very, very instructional in the book. And, I rarely bake, I'm a holiday person, you know what I mean? Like I'll bake some pies around Christmas and, a couple in the middle of like summer just for parties and things like that. But, I can sniff out a bad recipe, at least for baking. I feel comfortable with that now. But like, yeah, your voice in instruction is really, really good. It's surprising you don't do classes.
One of the other things I do for my design work is I work on other people's cookbooks. And so one of the parts of that is you design it, you lay it out, and then I'll get corrections back from editors. So I'm entering corrections into other people's cookbooks all the time. So that gives me a heads up on what I shouldn't do right from the get-go, and how best to describe something, because I'm seeing editors constantly editing other people's work. And that taught me a lot, just working on other people's cookbooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The after having some time to thumb through this book today, because I didn't get a chance to do it last night, but the fact that you lay out all the crust recipes at the forefront of the book and give you the tagline basically for every recipe to go back and look at the recipe for the crust that you need to use for it, makes me feel way more confident about trying to bake. because I am not a baker. I am one of those people that was taught to cook by feel from the time I was probably 10 years old. And I do a lot of savory. You can hand me any protein, I'll figure out a way to cook it. I am not a baker. My sister is our resident baker in the family. However, now I'm motivated to try to jump off into that pool, because it seems like you brought it into a realm where I can actually, with my limited attention span, can actually suss out how to actually make like a double butter pie crust, you know, without being too. And I have a KitchenAid, and the only thing I ever use it for is like pizza dough and, you know, that kind of thing. But now I feel motivated to actually like jump off into the pool.
If you get the pastry attachment for your KitchenAid, it's a different one. It doesn't come with your KitchenAid. It has like these vertical lines on it, and that will.
Yeah, I saw that one in the book, and I was like,
you should get it. I
have the hook
because
and I have the paddle, but that's all I got.
It doesn't come with it, so you have to buy it separately. But it cuts the butter instead of blending the butter, so that because you don't want to blend your butter into your flour. You want chunks of butter.
No,
and that's
you want the
way to do it without having to get your hands in there. You still have to get your hands in at the end, but it gives you that initial like cutting the butter into the small pieces and kind of distributing it in the flour. And it's actually super time saving. It's just, and what I do is I batch make a bunch of them, and then I will freeze them so that I'm only making a mess once.
And I just got a brand new deep freeze this week. So that's going to be a problem.
That pastry attachment was new for me as well, looking through the book. Cause I was like, oh, I wonder, at first, you know, you just see it and you're like, oh, it's just the thing that goes with not a KitchenAid. But then when I was reading about it, I was like, oh wow, that's brilliant. Like I definitely have that down on my, my things to buy.
It's also great for making scones. Really. Yeah.
Oh,
it's really nice for scones.
Oh yeah. Wow. Anything where you're cutting butter in, I guess so, huh?
Adding that to my
keep your butter cold and it'll cut it nice. If it's all soft, it's not going to work right. But yeah, if your butter's cold.
I'm going to go back to what Soren said about the beginning, where you have the you know, well, you have a lovely like primer on, you know, different ingredients and, you know, what to look for in them. Gelatin, maple syrup, like basically buy the best you can, which is always what you should be doing anyway. The equipment section is really nice, which is where I found out about the pastry attachment. But also I now I've never used one, and I need to have a tart temper.
Oh yeah.
No pun intended.
Tart temper.
Nice.
Need.
Yeah. So yeah, like stuff like that. The pastry, like the cookie stamps, which really got a lot of work out in some of the, you know, decoration for some of these cakes, which are gorgeous. Those are really cool. But also at the end of the book, you have a section on garnishes and, you know, there's cookie recipes, there's sauce recipes, like, you know, you're kind of covering all your bases.
If you think of a pie, and one of the reasons pies are a little bit harder than some other desserts is that there's really 3 parts to a pie. There's the crust, and then there's the filling, and then there's the topping. And the topping might just be whipped cream, or it could be whipped cream with toffee pecans on it, with a drizzle of caramel. There's just a lot of different things you can do on the top as well. And you can get creative and combine a lot of different things. So that's why I have a nice section at the end. So it starts with the crust, then there's 100 pie recipes in the middle of the book, and then at the end of the book is the toppings. So you can get creative. You can mix and match different things, and you can change to a chocolate crust if you want to, or there's a maple pie crust recipe in there. You can. I try to.
There's a gluten-free pie crust.
There is. It's a little hard to like work with a gluten-free because without the gluten, it does kind of crack. So if you put some plastic wrap over top of it to help you move that crust into your pie plate, it helps. But you still might get some cracks. You can pinch those back together, and you'll have a great crust.
That brings me to one of my favorite things about your book. Um, and it's basically allowing yourself to let go and like just let the pie become what it's going to become, like basically choosing substance over
Yep.
style. And I just want to quote you on a thing, because I had to write this down, because I was like, God, that's great. Like, I wish I'd have thought about this when I was younger and not drove myself fucking crazy making foods or pies or, so quote, crust is not meant for visual perfection, end quote. And I agree. Like, it looks great when you
It
mold it.
changes in the oven.
Yeah. And it gets craggy and
It shrinks.
it becomes,
yeah, you can make a
yeah.
beautiful, your edge of the pie, and then when it bakes, it's like it doesn't look like that anymore. When you're looking through the book, there's a lot of beautiful pies, but you'll see that they're not perfect. Like, none of my pies in this book are perfect, and some of them have like crusts that kind of like shrunk in one spot and didn't in another, and that's just
I did
yeah.
notice
And
that some of the things were, they looked beautiful, but they were not like, they weren't like perfectly symmetrical
because
or
that's what
anything.
happens when they
But
bake. I'm not trying to create something that's unachievable. This is for your home cook. It's not, you're not creating this masterpiece. You're making something handmade that looks handmade, and you're sharing
and
that with somebody, and it's going to
delicious.
be delicious. That's the most important part. And if you really wanted it to be perfect, you'd have to change the amount of flour in it, put more flour in it. It wouldn't taste as good. It's just getting that
No.
balance of butter and flour is going to create something that's going to bake in wonky ways. So it's just, but it tastes good. It's flaky. It's delicious. So,
And I think in this day and age of Instagram, TikTok, people trying to get visual perfection, I think, some people cheat. A lot of people cheat in their photos. Like, everything you see on TV doesn't taste good. It's meant to look good, right? There's probably a nail somewhere in that slice of pizza that they're pulling up, right? Like that kind of thing. So
Elmer's glue.
Right. But like, I think if people learn to let go and try not to chase that, they'll be much happier and their food will taste better. Like they won't like, when I was younger, I would get mad at the food I made because it didn't come out the way I thought it should look, right? It tasted perfectly fine and people gave me lots of compliments and I'd be like, fuck that thing. It's not exactly what I had in my head. And now I've learned to let that go, and I'm so much more happier as a home cook.
Yep.
Like, it's still going to be beautiful. People are still going to appreciate what you make because you're making it for them.
And it's handmade. If it looks too perfect, it looks like it came out of a machine. You don't want that. You want it to look handmade. You want it to show the love,
Right. I just thought that was a really important thing to put in the book, and to sort of like upfront before we get cooking, it was just refreshing, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, I love that. Perfection is not the goal. We're not working for Marco Pierre White. We're just, trying to cook, make something delicious at home.
Yep. I was calling that rustic beautiful. It's still beautiful, but it
doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to taste good,
Okay. So let's get into some of the stock questions, right? How many times have you been asked this? What's your favorite pie in the book?
I've been asked a couple of times. I like the cut, but
hold on, but I'll couch that by sweet and savory.
Okay. One of my favorite ones is the cover shot, and that's one of the reasons I wanted it on the cover. When I was growing up, we used to make these lemon bars, and I never liked lemon meringue pie. But this lemon tart is kind of more like a lemon bar with the Swiss meringue on it. So it's like an elevated lemon bar. It's got a very short, like a thick, almost shortbread crust, and then lemon curd, and then a Swiss meringue on it, which is really so. That's like a sweet and tart pie, or tart actually. And then I also, for the sweet, I also really love the toffee crumb pie at Thanksgiving time. I always make it, and I totally made that recipe up. It's just like a combination of some of my favorite things. I always like crumb crumbles on top of pie, and then it's kind of based on like a cookie. The filling is like a cookie with toffee in it, and it's like a warm chocolate chip cookie with a crumble on top, and serve that with some ice cream. And it's very rich, very, kind of once a year kind of pie. But and then probably the savory, the samosa pie was one of my favorite ones to work on, because Mumtaz.
That looks.
Oh, I saw that.
It's amazing. Mumtaz, who I wrote Gather and Graze with, helped me out with that the spice balance, because she's from Pakistan, and so she had a more authentic view on how I should balance those spices. And she also made a suggestion. A lot of the samosas, if you buy like the little fried hand, they're kind of like ham pies. They have cubed potatoes in them, and she said, you know what, do the potatoes mashed. And so you run those potatoes through a ricer, and you're getting cilantro and spices in the potatoes, and the mashed potatoes in there. They're just so delicious. So yeah.
All right. So I have a super juvenile question. So that sounds delicious. However, my wife is not a fan of green peas. Is there something you could sub in, like a chickpea or something like that, to give you the same kind of texture?
Corn?
Or corn, probably, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like people that don't like peas, quite often. I mean, everybody likes corn, right? I don't know. It's not as solid because a kernel would, be a little mushy. I don't know. Or just leave it out. You don't have to have it in there at all.
I think that would work.
You could just leave it out.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Because I saw that recipe earlier when I was thumbing through the book, and I was like, that sounds amazing. However,
she can pick them out.
My wife, she's very open-minded for like, actually, she's taught me a lot of things about food that I was not familiar with, like Thai food. I'd never had Thai food until we started dating. However, she is not a fan of green peas. So
even when they're mixed with something,
I saw that, I was like
I wouldn't eat a big bowl of green peas either, but I love it when it's mixed in with all of those good things in the
green peas with mint and butter are delicious. You both stop talking.
We may have to we may have to have a conversation about that. As far as like, is it cool as an ingredient, is not as like a side dish,
Yeah, well, you could definitely just leave them out.
I beg to differ.
I think it'd still be delicious. It's got like ground chicken, a lot of spices, cilantro, mashed potatoes.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah. And there's a cilantro mint chutney that you can make on the side, which goes really well with it.
Wow. It does sound good. The two that I was kind of like going bananas over. It's not a banana dish. Is the caramel coconut cream pie, which my wife and I are suckers for a coconut cream pie. And the whoopie pies or the oatmeal.
Those are both really good.
Like the oatmeal cream pies look so
nostalgic.
So I think your intro,
so nostalgic.
Yeah, your intro was basically the same as me. It's like I used to take those to school as like the treat after I was done, and it was like those Little Debbie's or whatever it was, right? And I don't think I was like looking at the picture. I was like, I don't think I've ever made oatmeal cream pies from scratch.
Yep. So now you can get all that yumminess, but without all the preservatives and crazy things that are in in the packaged version. They do taste better too.
I will say, I was talking to a friend of mine. I was at a dinner party the other night, and I was talking about interviewing you, and a friend goes, "Oh, well, it's probably going to be like one of your frou-frou cookbooks that like normal people can't cook from." And it was perfect that she was the one that said it, because I was like, no, because one time you were at my house and you picked up a book and was like, what is this? Nobody can cook anything out of this. And I was like, look at the recipes. And she started looking through the book and was like, oh my God. And then she started taking pictures of like the pages. And then a week later, she's like, that Gather and Graze book, yeah, I bought that. I was like, sweet. She was like, because I made a couple things off of it, but then I remembered that there were more things on the table, in the picture. And I was like, it's the same person. She was like, oh, I'm definitely getting this book. So
I really, really hoped my sister, because my sweet sister, she sent me 2 books. One was the homemade pie book, and the other one was the I didn't realize it because my wife opened the box and it was like, I got 2 books. I thought the other one was the Gathering Graves, but no, it's the Christmas book.
Yeah, the Christmas book is another one that's got very accessible recipes in it.
I'm going to be 475 pounds after that book because my sister and my wife are like ninjas with like making cookies and, you know, candies.
It's that time of year. Get ready.
Yep. I can't, I have never gotten good at it. I'm a savory cook, but yeah, between my sister who bought me the book and my wife, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. And that's the Christmas one has like a nice little section on candy making too. So there's different candy recipes in there.
Yeah. We have a lot of old family recipes for candies, the like old school candies like date balls and things like that. But like, yeah, my sister is like, I am real excited to get into this book. So, and,
one of the things that I was thinking about when I was looking through the book, I was like, there's no way I'm going to like bake everything out of this. And even though, you know, over a couple years maybe, but I want to try a bunch of stuff out of this book. I would have cooked. I've had this book for a while now, but most of the time it's been in storage. I don't know if you can see behind me, there's like a bunch of boxes. My basement flooded and my book was on my bookshelf. And when they wrapped everything up to take away to put in a storage, that was gone. They took the book from me. So I wanted to make the apple pie thing, the apple galette with the caramel sauce this week. But then my dishwasher went up and I had to take my dishwasher. So it's just been a thing. But I figured out a way to sort of like get as much as possible all at once to try. I think I'm going to, a lot of my friends that were at that dinner the other night, I think I'm going to ask them to do like let's cook the book kind of thing and meet up in like, you know, a couple weeks. And, you know, there's 5 or 6 of us. We can try 5 or 6 different
you can do
pies.
some savories and some sweets.
Yeah. That would be a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever done that with a book before, but this kind of warrants that.
That's a good idea. I may have to like.
And if you don't do it soon, you could do it on March 14th for Pie Day.
Oh yeah, yeah, even better. Oh, and then cook the book thing. What's like, okay, before you wrote the book, what was like your most requested recipe?
I made the apple from like the brown butter crumb. I can't remember exactly how I called the book or called the pie. It's the first recipe in fall. Brown butter.
That's
I love that you have
that's page 153. Everybody
divvied up in seasons.
Yep,
too.
that's so you can get your brown butter caramel apple pie.
163.
So the top is just a very generous crumb recipe. So like like you have these like Dutch apple pies and there's not enough crumb on them, but this one's generous. But I also brown the butter while I'm making the crumb on the top of that. And I've made a version of this for years, and so that's always really it's just a classic, and it's been always very popular if I bring that into work. The other one that I've made many times is the peanut butter silk pie, because when you're doing a big,
I saw that. That sounds amazing.
It's really rich, so you can't have very much of it. But when you're doing a spread of pies, like you're getting a bunch of them, there's always somebody who wants chocolate. So that's like a good chocolate and peanut butter hits like all those spots that people that want like a richer pie. So that goes good with a fruit pie, because the fruit pie is a little bit, less intense, not as heavy. So if you're making 2 pies, it's always good to do like one that has some chocolate in it, I think, because there's always somebody at a gathering that just wants chocolate.
So right after I graduated high school, I'm old now, but I moved to India. I live in Texas, but I moved to Indiana for a couple of years. And one of the biggest things I saw on like every dessert menu on like the diners there was just a peanut butter pie. And I had never seen, being in Texas, you get pecan pie, you get apple pie, you know. But when I moved up there, the peanut butter pie was like a every diner you went to had it, and it was like this was totally new to me at the time, but it is amazing. So I can only imagine how the that recipe is gonna be.
Yeah, there's actually
like,
two peanut butter pies because I like them so much. I made another one called the peanut butter cup pie, where the peanut butter and the chocolate are separated. So it's kind of like that, like the
Oh.
bottom layer is like the inside of a peanut butter cup, and then the top layer is like a chocolate mousse. So it's like over
Wow.
the top crazy good.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Also, I do have to agree with your family. I do think a Jonah Gold is probably the best apple for a pie.
Yep.
I love
Yep.
Jonah Gold. I've been sending my son to school with them. He's obsessed with them now. He's been like eating like one a day. Like,
all right. So Laura, I also have my book cracked open here.
Yeah, go for it.
And the first thing that I kind of like accidentally just sort of flopped open the book to was the Croque Madame galette. And that sounds absolutely bonkers.
It's really good.
Because I love me a Benny, and this sounds like a definitely a tarted up Benny that is way less messy.
Yeah.
and
it's a really,
so
that's a nice impressive one, I think. I mean it's definitely a rustic pie. I mean a galette is rustic. So but I think to bring it to like a brunch or if you're having some sort of a gathering, it's kind of a fun one to have, because it's got a lot of great flavors.
We don't entertain a lot.
Well, you can do it just for dinner too.
Yeah, exactly. This sounds like a breakfast for dinner sort of situation. And I love that you like ring the exactly which dough you need to use.
Yep.
Back in the front of the book.
And page numbers there.
And the rest of it sounds the rest of it sounds very, very straightforward, just a little technique. But
Yep. If you're a savory cook, that all that stuff should be pretty easy for you.
Yeah, that's me. I like the enchilada pie sounds amazing, and being in Texas, but yeah, I literally just kind of went through and bookmarked. Being a savory guy, I just went through and bookmarked the savory dishes that I thought sounded good. And like this one is the first one that caught my attention because I actually have never had a croque madame.
No? Oh, well, now you should just have it as a just forget about the sandwich and just make it as a galette.
Exactly. Yeah. That's sort of kind of where my mind went too. I was like, I've never had it. My dad would make it for my mom, but now and then, but obviously I haven't lived there.
The galette would be, it's really easy to get a bad croque madame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go out somewhere. So,
but I feel good about this recipe.
Especially in Texas.
It's probably not known for that.
Yeah. It's
I can't say anything. I'm in
brisket
Baltimore.
madame,
Baltimore's not known for its croque
madame. Yeah, I used to eat them in New York. That's where I got my taste for them.
Yeah.
In Baltimore, you get a crab madame.
Well, in Baltimore, it's called a croque madame.
Croque madame.
You gotta have the Baltimore accent.
That is the hardest accent because I am a scholar of like accents and cartoon voices, but I cannot get the Baltimore thing right.
It's a weird accent. You're talking kind of out the top of your mouth, and you're doing a lot of O's, and
that and the Pennsylvania thing.
Well, if you ever watch what is it? Abbott Elementary, the redheaded lady, she does a really good Philly accent, which is also very close to a Baltimore accent. So there's a lot of O's and stuff. So
I'm really good at the Letterkenny stuff. The Canadian thing.
Going back to like having the tags at the bottom of the recipes and stuff, I do appreciate that like you do have like a fast and easy icon.
Yeah. And none of them are totally fast because it's pie. You're going to make a crust that's going to take time. But if you've made your crust in advance, there's some of these that come together really fast.
we've all done this where we're like, I got enough time, I'll do the thing, and then you get halfway through it and you're like, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I either am missing the thing that I'm doing, or I'm just gonna have to put this on the back burner and finish it when I get home later. Because pies do take time. Certain things just take time, and
even if
that's
it's a
okay.
fast and easy, it might not be like a fast cook time. So it might be like you can just put it together really fast, and then you still have to kind of plan ahead to make sure that you have enough bake time. But once it's in the oven, you can be doing your other stuff. Yeah.
I do a lot of living in Texas. I do a lot of barbecue. So patience is a virtue with that. So I'm totally fine with that. Is like you put it together, put it in, and you just kind of sit back and wait, till it does the thing.
There's a difference between throwing a brisket on, a really low and slow oven, and then popping a pie into an oven at 400 degrees or whatever it is. The burning quotient is a lot higher.
you kind of want to
a good crust on the outside of a pie is one thing, but a bark on the outside of your pie is not.
No,
you don't want a salt and pepper bark on your pie. No. Also, this lemon chicken shepherd's pie,
that's really good.
Sounds incredible.
And I just based that one off from like one of our favorite meals at home is to make a roast chicken, and I always stuff it with lemons and rosemary and thyme, and I was like, you know what, and then we always have it with mashed potatoes. So I'm like I can turn this into a pie. These are my favorite flavors together. So let's just make a pie out of it.
This is where it walks back to me, being the low and slow barbecue guy, is I could do a rotisserie chicken, because I actually own a rotisserie, and make that into the shepherd's pie. So, we're talking. Yeah. Oh man.
There's a tomatillo pie in there too. Tomatillo and sweet corn pie, galette actually, that you can use a rotisserie chicken in as well. I think I even say that in there. It's in the summer, because that's when we have our sweet corn in Michigan. And that's when it's the most delicious. And that's another one that I just, I don't think that I've seen that anywhere else. That's when I just kind of made up out of like all my favorite flavors.
What part of Michigan?
I'm in Lansing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I lived in northern Indiana for a couple of years,
too far away.
And I was right on the Michigan line. And so we used to go up to Michigan and hang out with friends all the time. And I had a friend that lived in Livonia, and her grandmother was English. And I saw that you had a pasty recipe in the book.
That's a big thing in Michigan.
Yeah, but your pasties were mostly potato and rhubarb, but hers were like potato and ground beef.
Rutabaga. Yeah.
And rutabaga.
It'd be funny if you put rhubarb in your pasty.
I mean, it might work.
Might be.
But yeah, she would make a potato and ground beef pasty and give you a bottle of ketchup and say, enjoy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was delicious.
Well, yeah, in England that would be Swede, right? Beef and Swede.
I'm not sure.
Swede's rutabaga.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's just a really popular thing in Michigan, specifically in the Upper Peninsula. It's kind of like
or just hand pies.
Pasties. Yeah, that's like a specialty of Michigan. Like.
Yeah, I'd never had one before, and our friend that I actually met her when I was down here, because her family moved down here from Michigan, and she was dating one of my friends, and she turned around and like moved back up north, and so I was dating a girl who came from Indiana, and her dad moved back up north too. So we ended up kind of linking up, and it was only probably an hour drive from where we were to Livonia, and her English grandmother was like, "Oh, you need to come get some pasties," and it was ground beef, potatoes, the dough, and some ketchup, and it was so good and so simple.
And they're originally they are from England. The miners, I think it was miners that brought the recipe. They came from England, and then those are such a convenient thing to like eat while you're working or like on the job site. So that was kind of like, I guess the mines were up in the UP, and so that's where they became popular.
Yeah, listen to our pie episode years ago where I think I covered this exact thing. Yeah, because even in England they basically double the crust. Like the crust is really hard, so you can take it with you so it doesn't break.
Yeah, it's for like a lunch. It's for a it's supposed to be
put it in your pocket.
Yeah. And a lot of it weirdly enough was for preservation technique, because it would basically it was kind of the Tupperware of its day. You never really ate the crust.
Oh, really?
It was just like basically it was like basically a salt and
a container.
Lard crust. Yeah, it was basically a container, and you could put your ingredients in there, crust it up, bake it, and then let it sit for a few days without refrigeration, and it would just stay in there fresh.
I mean, to be fair, that's like tamales down here. So
yeah. I mentioned the food styling, but I really want to call out two things. That rhubarb curd pie is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. It is gorgeous. And then the other one is the caramel pear.
Oh yeah.
Just because, you get to the fall section and you open it up and that thing looks like a damn comfy sweater. and I've never seen braided dough before like that. And it's so cute and it's such a good idea.
And it's not perfect.
No, it's not, because how could it be? It's so fine. Of course it's going to break. But I remember when I first got the book and I brought it home, my wife and I was looking through it. She was like, that is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's not that hard. It takes a little bit of time.
Well, and that was the other thing. She was like, I can't imagine how hard
it's not hard.
Is.
It's just, you gotta have some time.
Yeah, you just gotta know how to braid.
Yeah, it's not hard at all. It doesn't have to be one long piece. You gotta
cute.
That would be really hard.
I noticed that it was
pieces.
It was like six
multiple pieces.
Right. And you get the idea, and it has a really good visual presentation.
And it's delicious with all of the pear. You could do that on any 2-crust pie that you do. It doesn't have to be this particular pie.
Oh, and okay, so for years, and I only do this every now and then, but most of the time when people ask me, should I make my own pumpkin pie filling? I'm like, absolutely not. But you have a recipe for it, and I really appreciate it because it's a
big difference. It tastes a lot different, I think. It looks different too. It's not that dark as when you make it fresh.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the canned like sweet potato or pumpkin pie filling is probably a bit of butternut.
It's not always completely pumpkin.
Sometimes
it's a mix.
I mean,
unless it says 100% pumpkin,
squash, but yeah, it's probably 50-50.
Some of them, yeah.
The only thing I would say about making your own pumpkin pie filling is just watching out for the water content, because I've done it before where it's just a soppy mess, but which is pretty much why you got to turn it upside down sometimes, because if you bowl it, all the water collects.
And make sure you get the right pumpkin
in there.
You got to use pie pumpkin.
And that was the other thing.
If you try to use something else, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to be a stringy mess.
Like you say in the book, which is a real, I'm sure I was just at the pumpkin patch Sunday, right? Got a like an acorn squash for cooking, little stuffed acorn squash. But then, they have pie pumpkins and then they have carving pumpkins. And I'm sure there are people that they're like, oh, well, I'll get the bigger pumpkin because that's more and it turns out really bad. Even when you puree it,
I'm sure it's a mess.
It's still, But I love that, I think people should at least try it once. Just to
everything in the book is if you want to, you can make everything from scratch, but you don't have to. So if you want to make a crumb crust, I have a recipe for making the cookies too, to make the crumb. So that you don't have to use Oreos or something that has, all those sorts of packaged, the stuff the junk that we don't want to eat. But not everybody has time to do that. So go ahead and buy the things that you can't make yourself. But if you want to, you can make everything completely from scratch. Everything's there, except for graham crackers. The only thing I did not do was try to figure out how to make graham crackers. So if you want a graham cracker crust, you're gonna have to buy the graham crackers.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
I will say, in terms of cookies, I didn't know what speculoos were.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was Biscoff, but we couldn't use brand names. So, I mean, I originally wrote it as Biscoff, and then the editor changed it.
Yeah, Trader Joe's.
Yeah. So, and like the cookies that are in there are
like
Biscoff, like the ones that are like stuck in the whipped cream are Biscoff cookies.
Right.
And then the other thing we couldn't do was Pop-Tarts. Like we can't use the word Pop-Tarts.
Oh, you can't use the name.
So those are all like there's a bunch of Pop-Tart recipes, but I mean, they're called hand pies.
I was really hoping you would bring this up because my wife has never toasted a Pop-Tart before in her life.
She eats them raw?
Yeah. She eats them raw.
Yeah, just straight
well, they're not really raw.
Straight out the foil.
I know, but you know what I mean.
It's
like saying I eat an uncooked hot dog and people are like, that's disgusting.
She has never had a toasted Pop-Tart
a lot better that way.
in her life, which is bananas. Like, I'm learning so much about my spouse doing this podcast.
Okay,
yeah, jam hand pies. Yeah.
Yep, you can put whatever kind of jam you want into it. So it's kind of like but you would not want to put those in a like if you wanted to reheat them, don't put them in the toaster. You're gonna have a total mess.
Wreck your toaster.
All right, so I found a page that I'm very excited about. It sort of leans into the like almost a pizza. Gonna need you to see if you can, the potato bacon Gruyere galette.
Yep.
That sounds incredible.
It is. It really is. It really is. Bring that to that's good for your
not gonna lie.
Like your tailgating parties or your Super Bowl parties. Yeah. That's also good for like a New Year's Eve party. Everybody loves that.
And it almost like with the photograph, it almost reads like a pizza, but it was like a pizza that I want to eat like every night.
Yeah. And then the other thing I've done on that is leave the bacon out and just put it on the side for anybody who's a vegetarian, because sometimes you need to have a vegetarian option at your table.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. But oh, good Lord. That looks delightful.
And then if you turn the page, there's the sausage ricotta pie, which I think you would also like. It's that
I
is,
also bookmarked that
that's kind of like
too.
a deep dish pizza, basically. But
yes,
we have a pretty famous pie shop in Baltimore here called Dangerously Delicious Pies, and he's a buddy of mine. He's been on Food Network a few times, but he does sort of pies like that, like a sausage, tomato, cheese, thick. What in your book would be called a deep dish pie.
Sorry,
and those pies are pretty pricey. You know what I mean? Like we're talking $35, $40 for a pie.
You can make it yourself.
And
make 2 of them, put one in the freezer.
And yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying don't go to Dangerously Delicious. If you're in Baltimore, check it out. It's delicious. But making pies at home is a fun thing to do.
But this has a pie crust in it, so it's pretty rich. So it's not not a yeasted dough. It's a buttery pie crust. So it's I don't know if that's what it's like over.
Okay. It is. All the crusts are legit.
Yeah.
So
all right. So as a absolutely terrified person trying to think about baking stuff, meringue. I have never in my life made a meringue. I have eaten my fair share of meringues, but I have never made one. Is there anything like pitfalls or?
I think the most important thing is you do have to. I think the best thing is to have the KitchenAid stand mixer or any stand mixer if you're making a meringue.
I do have one of those, but my KitchenAid does like
because you've got to have it on for quite a while, and so if you're standing there holding it, it's going to be. I've actually never made meringue with a hand mixer. I know you can, but I've got to think that's going to take a
You do
really long time.
I've done it with a whisk
What?
before. Yeah, they made us do it in
How long
culinary
did that
school. It
take?
sucked.
Oh my goodness.
15,
20
your
minutes.
arm
must have been so sore.
Because, it was.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Because you had to go fast too.
Because it's also sort of to teach you the appreciation to not try to do certain things. It's okay to use machines. And, because even making whipped cream by hand sucks. It hurts your forearm. Oh, my hand. Everybody's hands cramped. Your forearms are cramped. Yeah, it sucked.
So there's
cream of tartar always helps.
It does, and make sure you don't get any fat in there. Like, make sure your bowl is really clean because fat is going to deflate your meringue. No yolks in there. Don't get any. If your yolk breaks in there, start over. Basically, because it's pretty hard to get it out.
So
but
I grew up with a lot of friends. Obviously, I live in Texas, so I grew up with a couple of friends who's like grandmothers. They're
Where'd you grow up? I'm not sure. You haven't said it enough.
I Baltimore.
Keep going.
No, but anyway, so my friends that I grew up with, their grandmothers were always bakers. They did all the things, and they could make a meringue without thinking about it. They just did it, and it was always intimidating to me to make it right,
Well,
and
the one that I use the most in this book is the Swiss meringue, where you cook the egg whites and sugar I cook it to 170 degrees before I whip it. And now then it's safe to eat, so you don't have to put it in the oven. And then I usually toast that with a kitchen torch, which is a lot of fun.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
All right. That sounds way easier than whatever they were doing.
Well, I just like it's a different texture too. A Swiss a Swiss meringue is almost like a marshmallowy, like creamy. And I just that's when I wanted to make the s'mores tart, because that Swiss meringue reminds me of marshmallow fluff, and so
their meringues were always almost like borderline like crunchy.
That's like more of a French meringue, I think, probably, right?
It's you see the drips of like the sugar and stuff coming out of it when it was set
that's
up.
Also how long you keep it in the oven for too. It dries out,
So there is one French meringue, and that's the strawberry angel pie. It has a French meringue crust. So you do toast that until it's crunchy, and then it's like, that one is the only French meringue.
Oh, nice.
Okay, because cool. Like a Swiss meringue would be like memory foam compared to like a French meringue being
like attic insulation.
Like a regular mattress. Not that I've eaten either one of them.
Yummy.
But in terms of like in terms of like texture and give when you're pushing on them, kind of, they have the French meringues it has much more give, and the Swiss meringues got a lot of heft behind it. It's got a lot more structure because it's cooked. It's already pre-cooked. So then you're kind of
all the meringues I ate growing up were like, it was like the pie underneath of it was delicious, but the meringue was like borderline like a packing peanut texture.
Yeah, and I think that's why I've never really liked lemon meringue pie. I think that's why it's never been my favorite. But this lemon meringue tart with the Swiss meringue is just a completely different experience.
I've always found that when I love lemon meringue pie, but I love it when it's only a thin bit of meringue. So it's cooked and it's not sweating. Like, how they sweat underneath sometimes, and that's gross. But if you have too much of it and they got to bake it for that to set, the pie gets weird. Yeah. I prefer a little bit of meringue instead of a giant dome. Yeah,
the mountain is impressive.
It's not like
that's always looks really cool when they have a nice big mountain of meringue on there.
Yeah,
what is that? Baked Alaska, right? Where they do the meringue around the ice cream.
Yeah, because all the meringue pies down here have 47 inches of meringue on top.
They're like beehive haircuts.
Yep,
pies.
It's like the B-52s.
Okay, well, before we leave, is there anything that you would recommend people have as a basic beginner's setup for baking? Like, I mean, you have it in the book, which is basically like, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is like, if somebody was to prepare a pie tomorrow, what are the 4 or 5 things they should go out and buy to make a successful pie?
I think a bench scraper is one of my favorite tools and is probably one of the cheapest things you can get. If you do not have a bench scraper, get yourself one. It's not even just for pies.
Agreed.
For any doughs, it's like, so when you're rolling out your pie crust and you get a little tiny bit of it stuck, you're going to want to constantly move that pie crust so you know it's not getting stuck. And if it is, you just take that bench scraper and you put it underneath. And then when you're done with and you've got a mess, use the bench scraper to clean up your work surface. I mean, I never had one when I was growing up because my mom never had one. So I didn't know what it was. And then once I started using it, it was like, oh, wow, this is.
Oh, they're like a miracle.
Yeah, this is. And I've even used a bench scraper to cut my butter to create, like if you want to, it's a little bit messy because then you can do your dough on your work surface and just cut that butter with the bench scraper and then just keep working it. And so your hands aren't getting on the butter. But that's probably my number one tool. Definitely, if you have a KitchenAid, get the pastry attachment. If you don't have a KitchenAid, that's fine too. You want a rolling pin that
Amazon
you're comfortable with. Don't use the one that everybody says to use. Use the one you're comfortable with, because it's an art. Like there's you get used to a certain one. I use a maple wood rolling pin. That's my favorite one. I know some people like marble, but I think it's just because I'm comfortable with that one because I've used it so many times.
I hate marble ones.
Oh yeah, I don't like marble ones. No,
they're terrible. They're so heavy.
Definitely have
like a hammered steel one.
A deep dish pie dish. You because you're always better if you're only going to get one pie dish, get a deep dish, because then you can make smaller pies in the deep dish pie dish, but you can't make the deep dish ones in the classic size because they'll go all over the place. So yeah, those would be. And then my other tip is if you ever buy a package of pie weights, that package of pie weights is not enough. It's not enough.
Buy 2.
Sometimes you need 3.
I wanted to bring up pie weights.
Because you have to
really.
If you want to blind bake a pie, you need to fill that thing to the top. Otherwise, your crust is going to come down the sides of your pie dish. So don't you look at this, you're like, this should be enough because this is the way they sell it. Nope. You don't have to use pie weights. You can use beans. But I have like 3 packages of pie weights that I use, and I throw them all in there until it's full to the top.
I had a giant thing of beans that I used for baking for like almost a decade, and then they were just so brown and gnarly. I was like, I can't keep using these things because I've been using them to blind bake so much stuff that I was like, all right. And it was funny because I've been thinking about getting pie weights, and then going through the book, I'm like, oh, okay, pie weights. I should definitely get some pie weights. But that's what I wanted to ask. Is one package enough?
Nope, but nobody knows that.
Because I've seen them. That's a really good tip.
Yeah,
cool.
It's because I had so much frustration with pie slipping down, or crust slipping down the edge of the thing. The other tip on that is to get your crust nice and cold before it goes in the oven. That helps. Your crust, the dough, nice throw it in the refrigerator for half an hour if you can, and then
is that so like the fat doesn't melt?
It's
like
it also
fast.
Makes it more flaky and then you're gonna bake it in a hot oven. So you want that cold butter to hit that hot oven, and then the steam to create pockets inside your crust, and that's where you get your flaky. That's where you get your flaky from. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, okay. You've done this once before, but we're gonna make you do it again. Before you leave, we always do like, tomorrow you are going to die. You are going to perish. You're going to that great pie in the sky. You can have anything you want as your last meal. It can be as involved. It could be as simple. It can include, first, second course, dessert, drinks, whatever you want.
I wonder what I said the first time.
I don't know. I didn't go back and listen. It'll be interesting to
would
go back and listen.
probably have filet
I
mignon.
didn't either. I should.
I would probably have
Filet-
filet mignon cooked in a skillet with avocado oil, like
Okay.
charred on the sides, but pretty rare in the middle, with some kind of potato.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it wouldn't be. I probably should have said a pie, but that's probably like a big chunk of meat, like a really nice cut of meat.
Little on the
Yeah,
nose.
it's like probably one of my favorite. But yeah, you should have a slice of pie at the end of that.
Yeah, of course. You can have whatever you want.
I don't know.
You can have pie.
There's not a lot of room after you've had a
the
nice
beginning?
size steak. There's like that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Or you could do like what's the stupid Gordon Ramsay thing that he makes everybody make with the duxelle and
Wellington.
A Wellington, which is kind of like a beef pie. Yeah.
What's yours? Have you told yours a number of times or?
Yeah, mine's dumb. It's like I guess like a good cold beer or some sort of drink, but I want 2 chili hot dogs with mustard, onion, and chili. Mm-hmm. And I've never thought anything more past that. Like
I need kraut.
I should throw a dessert in there maybe just to be decadent.
Yeah.
But like I'm like, oh well, maybe just like a good scotch or a really good whiskey at the end. Weirdly enough, the beer in the beginning might be getting taken away by just like a really nice glass of ice water. Like that sounds really stupid, but like, sometimes you get, you go in a restaurant and the ice smells funky or you start appreciating just like really good tasting water that, that sounds weird. Maybe some milk and cookies at the end.
Yeah.
Something weirdly comforting before casting off this mortal coil. I don't know. You
know?
Right,
warm from the oven, chocolate chip cookies. Nice classic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Laura. I really appreciate it.
My cheesecake recipe.
Oh, cheesecake is another good one. Yeah. Can't go wrong with that.
Burnt Bass cheesecake is what I've been obsessed with lately.
Yeah, my cheesecake is my send off because it's dirt simple, but it's super super nostalgic. Mm-hmm. So it's like
I suppose nostalgia is really what you'd be after on that last day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what mine is because that was when I was a kid. That was always like a thing. So. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
It was a good time. I love talking about the book. Like, I'm really, really excited about actually dipping into these recipes coming up, especially the savory stuff because that's my wheelhouse. But this Christmas book is going to be a problem. I may be 500 pounds next time you come on the show.
It'll be fun. They'll be fun 500 pounds. So.
Yeah, because again, my wife and my sister are the bakers, and but yeah, it was a great time and lots of good information.
Yeah, and I'll say, if you know anybody in your family, dear listener, that bakes, buy them this book. Go to your local bookstore, buy the book. If they don't have it, ask for it. They will definitely order it for you. It's available at all the other places where you can get it online. And I highly recommend it. It's a great book. If there's anybody who's even thinking about like baking or is just entertaining, dipping their toe in that sort of thing, this is a perfect book. So great job, Laura. It's fucking great. Thank you. So for the Rude Cooking School podcast, my name is John Hauser III. Don't yuck my yum.
I am Saucy Soren Markwart.
And
Laura Klynstra.
There you go. Klynstra, not Klynstra, everybody. Klynstra. Thank you so much, Laura. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everybody. Peace.
Bye.